Monsters have always been a staple in gaming, whether you're hunting them down or facing off in epic battles. But the next wave of monster-themed games is set to redefine the genre with incredible new worlds, terrifying creatures, and heart-pounding gameplay. From open-world adventures to strategic hunts, these upcoming titles promise to deliver experiences that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Whether you're tracking down beasts in vast landscapes or battling nightmare creatures in dark corners, these games are too good to ignore. Get ready to meet the next generation of monsters that will haunt, thrill, and challenge you like never before. Directive 8020 is an upcoming sci-fi survival horror game and part of the Dark Pictures anthology by Supermassive Games. Set in space aboard the ship Cassiopeia, players must navigate a deadly scenario involving an alien organism capable of mimicking its prey. The game focuses on intense survival elements, real-time threats, and the need to make critical decisions about trust, as any crew member could be an imposter. The game is slated for release in 2025 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. The game draws inspiration from classic sci-fi horror themes and promises a blend of cinematic storytelling and interactive gameplay typical of Supermassive's titles. Echoes of the Living is an upcoming survival horror game developed and published by Moonglint. It is a modern homage to the classic survival horror games of the 1990s, such as Resident Evil and Silent Hill. The game is set to release on February 2025 for PC via Steam, with potential plans to expand to other platforms like PlayStation 5 and Xbox. Players will experience two distinct campaigns with unique storylines and objectives. The characters, Liam Oakwood and Laura Reeves, offer around 10 to 12 hours of gameplay, each providing a total of 24 hours of immersive horror. A third character campaign is planned to release as a free update after the game's launch. The game features low-poly aesthetics, dark atmospheres, real-time lighting, and supernatural themes reminiscent of 90s horror. If you're a fan of classic survival horror with modern touches, Echoes of the Living could be a compelling addition to your library. Save Birmingham is an upcoming medieval zombie survival game developed by Ocean Drive Studio. Set in 14th century Birmingham, England, the game immerses players in a plague-ridden town overrun by the undead. Players assume the role of the last survivor, scavenging for resources, crafting tools, and fighting off hordes of zombies using historically accurate weapons and physics-based mechanics. You will explore a reconstructed medieval Birmingham, including landmarks like the Church of St. Martin and market areas. You will use creative tactics like barricading doors, dismembering zombies, and leveraging the environment to survive. The game is slated to launch on PC via Steam Early Access, first followed by releases on PlayStation and Xbox platforms. No official release date has been announced yet, but you can wishlist it on Steam for updates. Into the Dead Our Darkest Days is an upcoming survival game developed by Pickpock set in a zombie-infested Walton City, Texas during the 1980s. This game introduces a side-scrolling shelter survival gameplay style, a departure from the previous entries in the Into the Dead series, which focused on endless runner mechanics. Players must guide a group of survivors to safety by scavenging resources, crafting tools and weapons, and balancing the group's physical and psychological needs. The game combines tense stealth mechanics with a richly designed environment, featuring detailed lighting and audio cues that enhance the horror experience. A demo for the game was made available on Steam starting October 28, 2024. The full game is set to launch in 2025 via Steam Early Access, exclusively for PC during its initial release phase. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is an upcoming co-op first-person shooter developed by Saber Interactive and published by Focus Entertainment, inspired by 80s action and horror aesthetics. The game is set to release in 2024 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via the Epic Games Store. In a near future, an experimental attempt to tap the Earth's core power unleashes the Sludge God. It is an eldritch entity that transforms the environment and creates hordes of undead monsters. Players take on the roles of a ragtag team of mercenaries known as the Toxic Commandos, tasked with defeating this supernatural threat. The game emphasizes teamwork, allowing up to 4 players to join forces against massive swarms of mutated creatures. The game draws heavily from John Carpenter's style, blending intense action with humor and horror. Carpenter himself, known for his iconic films, expressed excitement about the project, describing it as a fun and explosive zombie shooter experience. Killing Floor 3 is an upcoming first-person shooter developed by Tripwire Interactive. The game is set in a dystopian future in 2091, roughly 70 years after the events of its predecessor. Players will face off against hordes of bioengineered creatures called Zeds, which are created by the sinister Horzine Corporation. You'll take on the role of a specialist in a rebel group known as Nightfall, fighting for humanity's survival while upgrading skills and crafting a deadly arsenal. This game is planned to release in early 2025 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. The game maintains its signature cooperative wave-based survival gameplay for up to 6 players. Players can expect darker themes, advanced enemy designs, and intense horror-inspired action. There will be deep customization options for weapons and character progression. Stay tuned for more updates as the release date approaches. Nakwon Last Paradise is an upcoming zombie apocalypse stealth survival game developed by Mint Rocket, a sub-brand of Nexon. Set in Seoul, the game introduces a unique PvPvE experience for up to 16 players. Players navigate a devastated city, avoiding detection from zombies and other survivors while scavenging resources to survive. The game focuses heavily on stealth, resource management, and tactical decision-making. The game features a third-person perspective and combines horror, survival, and action elements with a stealth-based approach. Players must strategize to extract safely from the zombie-infested urban landscape. Nakwon Last Paradise is planned for release on PC, but a definitive launch date has not yet been announced. A pre-alpha playtest began in late November 2023, showcasing early gameplay. Projekt Z Beyond Order is an upcoming co-op zombie first-person shooter set in an alternate World War II timeline. The game is being developed by 3 and 14 Arts and published by Maximum Entertainment. It offers a mix of action, survival mechanics, and narrative-driven gameplay. The story takes place on a zombie-infested island where Nazi Germany attempts to weaponize the undead to gain an edge in the war. Players must thwart these plans while battling hordes of zombies. It is expected to be released in spring 2025 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. The game promises high-quality visuals, engaging mechanics, and cooperative gameplay that enhances the experience of battling the undead in a historical fantasy setting. Retrieval is an upcoming survival horror game from 333 Studios. Set on the distant and hostile planet of Ryhalion, the game follows Commander Hannah Losha and her research team as they explore an abandoned base only to uncover terrifying secrets. The game promises cinematic visuals, engaging storytelling, and intense survival horror elements. One standout feature is the use of cutting-edge technology like NVIDIA's RTX Di for enhanced ray tracing and shadows, along with Dolby Atmos 3D audio, which will elevate the immersive experience. The game has been highlighted for its intense gore and atmospheric tension, aiming to stand out in the horror genre. Retrieval will be available on multiple platforms including PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and S. While the exact release date has not been confirmed, the game is currently available for wishlist on platforms like Steam.
There is no end.
State of Decay 3 is the highly anticipated continuation of the State of Decay series developed by Undead Labs and published by Xbox Game Studios. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world where players must survive a zombie outbreak while managing resources, building bases, and protecting their communities. This new installment will offer improvements over its predecessor, State of Decay, especially in gameplay mechanics, character development, and multiplayer features. The game's world will be expanded, including a new cold, wintry setting possibly inspired by the Rocky Mountains or even Alaska. State of Decay 3 is set in the same universe as its predecessors, but promises a more detailed narrative with deeper character interactions and a greater emphasis on community building. You will encounter new threats, such as zombified wildlife like deer and wolves, adding an additional layer of danger to the survival experience. This game will be available on Xbox Series X and S and Windows PC, and it will be part of the Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Cloud Gaming from day one. It will not be released on Xbox One, and it's unlikely to come to PlayStation or Nintendo Switch at launch.
And that helped us find the courage to keep going. To fight on. When we needed it the most. I didn't know you well. But we'll keep your memory alive. Every sacrifice we make matters and will never be forgotten.
Alright, so these upcoming monster games are pushing the boundaries of what's possible in gaming, bringing us unforgettable creatures, intense gameplay, and world building like we've never seen before. Whether you're ready to take on the hunt or dive into dark, monstrous worlds, these titles are shaping up to be some of the most exciting experiences in gaming. Keep an eye on these releases while you won't want to miss out on the action. Let me know in the comments which game you're most excited for. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on the games you can't afford to ignore.